Today we are discussing the main concept underlying the dispersion. So far we discussed dispersion little bit in depth, telling its main cause the pulse spreading or overlapping between the pulses that we are getting from the light rays propagating in the optical fiber. Just to recap, dispersion is nothing but an ISI or intersimple interference. Without overlapping, we came across the maximum bit rate as 1 by 2 to tau is the delay, and with the overlapping, assuming the Gaussian shape, we got it as with sigma as the RMS width, having a bit rate of 0.2 by sigma bits per second. Later we have gone through discussing the dispersion aspect with respect to the coding techniques. So here coding techniques came into picture as we wanted to conversion from bitrate to the data rate. There we took the example of NRZ and RZ, and they have contributed half and full bandwidth depending on the availability of bits in NRZ and RZ schemes, coding schemes. Then we gone through the aspect of dispersion with respect to multimode uh, single multimode, simplex, multimode credit index, and single mode index fibers. Gradually, the dispersion got improved from multimode to the multimode simple index to the single mode simple index fiber. But all the way we given the reason for dispersion as the broadening of the pulses. That is a pulse spreading. That today is the main topic, the pulse spreading in the material dispersion. Material dispersion is one of the type of dispersions. We have seen material dispersion, chromatic dispersion, waveguide dispersion, modal dispersion, etc. Modal dispersion occurs because of the change in modulating frequency of each of the modes that you are supporting, your fiber is supporting. In that case, there is a transfer of message from one to another mode that is causing modal dispersion. Chromatic combination of both material and waveguide, sorry, material. So chromatic depends on the wavelength, variation of the wavelength, operating wavelength. And material dispersion, today's topic, depends on the characteristics features of the material, what you are going to use to manufacture the optical fiber. So that directly links with the variation of the refractive indices of both core and cladding that are contributing for the pulse widening as they travel longer distances. Of course, there is a direct link that the pulse widening with respect to the direct link is there between the pulse widening and the length they are traveling or the time it is elapsing. But what is the cause for that? Why they are widening? If you look at the, because we are telling that, although we were telling the power or the intensity modulated optical ray is coupled from the link that is from the transmitter of the media, that is optical media, optical fiber. So intensity modulated wave is traveling all the way, propagating all the way through the core of the fiber. And that the same thing we looked at that intensity modulated wave in terms of the pulses as far as the dispersion is concerned. Now the question is why this pulse spreading is happening. What is the main cause for that? That is the today's hot topic. Now we look into this now to understand the pulse spreading. Instead of looking into the intensity modulated light, instead of looking into the pulses, light ray pulses, which are propagating inside the fiber, now we'll look this light in terms of plane waves, because we know that this intensity modulated wave is nothing but your information that is there in the form of a three-dimensional, that is electromagnetic wave, is modulated by the photons. In one axis, E will be there, orthogonal to that Y, X you take E, Y will get H, and orthogonal to both these in the Z direction, you will be getting the message or information, three-dimensional. That we are going to call it as a plane wave. Here you can see. So it is marking plane wave is there. So this plane wave is propagating throughout the length of the optical fiber. But this plane wave has some localized regions, not so much localized, small regions, have some, you can say the set of points where you can get the same phase always, even though if you go from one to another cycle, one lambda to another lambda, one peak to another peak. That if you recall, we have discussed that aspect in case of uh, multimode fibers, Bessel's functions in the last model. So the set of points where uh, the set of points of the plane wave that is propagating, no problem. So set of points in this plane wave that is propagating having the same phase. Okay, throughout the fiber will be having the same phase, that is the phase velocity. They are moving with the same phase velocity. That is called a group velocity. But the problem is that this plane wave inside these such kind of points are located. But the problem is with the plane wave, not with these such kind of points having the same phase. The problem is with the plane wave. The plane wave, its behavior is going to change non-linearly with the wavelength. Understanding? The behavior of the plane wave, which is propagating inside the fiber, is changing non-linearly. That's not non-linear means you cannot predict. It is randomly changing with respect to the wavelength. That is the main aspect lying behind the material dispersion. And because of this change in behavior of the plane wave, the points, okay, which are there, the set of points which are there inside such kind of dynamically behaving plane wave, no, having the same phase, will experience some changes. There, we can say their group velocity will also change. So each of these points, we can think of it as a spectral components having uh, same phase velocity. Together they form the group velocity. One set of points having some phase velocity constitute one group velocity called as a group velocity 1. Another group of points having different phase velocity constitute different group velocity. Like that we'll be having, because all these points are spectral components will not be launched at the same time at the link transmitter coupling to the fiber, isn't it? All the rays will not be launched at the same time, and obviously If you look at these light rays in terms of the spectral components or the points having the same phase velocity will be different. Therefore, we will not be having a single set of points having the single phase or group velocity. We'll be having multiple set of such points having multiple phase velocities or group velocities or spectral components. Because the reason they will not be launched at the same time. And all such things are there in the plane wave. Now the plane wave itself is varying randomly with the wavelength. Then all such set of points which are there in the plane wave, of course, each set of points having the same phase velocity, group velocity, now will experience some delay. So that's what they are telling. We are beginning our quantitative discussion by assuming the group delay, okay, tau g. So the group delay, which is a reciprocal to the group velocity Vg, both are inversely proportional. So I am writing the group delay, the suffix g that will indicate the group delay with respect to some group velocity Vg with respect to one set of points. Like that, many sets will be there inside the plane view. Let us consider one set of points having the same phase velocity or group velocity Vg now are experiencing the delay, that is a group delay tau g, given by differential differentiation of the phase constant beta with respect to the radian frequency, that is omega. That here it has been told 2.37 and 2.40 equations. If you want, you can refer to the textbook or to the notes. So if you want the steps, or otherwise I suggest no, not those steps are actually optional. I will keep not required. Directly you can remember this. The group delay I am writing. Why I am writing the group delay for the group velocity? Because this group velocity for those group of points are experiencing because of the non-linear behavior of the plane wave with respect to the wavelength. This you have to understand. I don't know how many of you are understanding this one. If you have any questions, you can raise now itself. I can explain again with some more insight. So you can write this group delay tau z as a differentiation of the phase constant beta with respect to the radian frequency omega, radial frequency. That is equal to the 1 by c reciprocal of the velocity of light times one term, that is if it is visible. So n1 minus lambda dn1 by d lambda. You can remember this. So all we know n1 is a Ri of a core, and that's all those with the lambda is the operating wavelength. So this is the group delay. Now I am writing tau g. Next I will have to write the pulse delay tau m. Pulse delay tau m with respect to assuming the fiber length L. So initially, guys, we have some journey of mathematical discussion of this pulse spreading in the material dispersion. We are initializing or beginning with the two important equations. One is a group delay, that is a tau z, for the group velocity Vg for a particular set of group of points inside the plane wave front. And this we have to define the delay tau z for the nonlinear behavior of that plane wave happening with respect to the wavelength. That is a material dispersion. Because of this group delay, we will have to define also the pulse delay, that is a tau m with respect to the material dispersion. M it will indicate material dispersion. Tau it will indicate the delay, pulse delay due to material dispersion for the entire length L. That is now given by simply you multiply this group delay by L. You can see group delay is 1 by C N1 minus lambda Dn by d lambda. If you multiply this tau g by L, that is the pulse delay tau m is nothing but L times, that is multiplying the tau g by fiber length L. That's all. So guys, remember these two equations. We are beginning our mathematical journey. The group delay and the pulse delay. Group delay is the tau d and the pulse delay tau m is the L times tau g. If you remember the equation for tau g, that is 1 by C n1 minus lambda dn by d lambda, will get tau m also. That is simply L by tau g. So we have to analyze what kind of pulse broadening is happening. We have to assume some width for that pulse that is going to widen later. So for optical source from which it is coming, okay, that is emitting these pulses or rays of light. We'll assume that we'll have the RMS spectral width sigma lambda with the mean wavelength, that is operating wavelength all the way lambda. So we'll assume that the spectral width, RMS spectral width as sigma lambda. So RMS pulse broadening due to material dispersion, that is represented by sigma m, is obtained from this 3.14 equation using the Taylor series about lambda. So how we can write? So sigma m, that is a, wait a minute, sorry. RMS pulse broadening due to material dispersion, that is a sigma, equal to sigma lambda, that is RMS spectral width, times the variation of tau m, that is a pulse delay with respect to the wavelength. Like that, we'll have the second order derivative, fourth, like that, higher order derivative will go on getting if you apply the Taylor series. But in practice, we'll consider the dominant first term only to go with, and is obvious if the sources are operating in the range from 0.8 to zero point 0.9 micrometer wavelength. So approximately the RMS pulse broadening, that is sigma m due to material dispersion, sigma m approximately will become equal to sigma lambda into d tau m by d lambda. And the pulse spread is evaluated by considering, so we want tau m, that is a pulse widening on lambda. So that this three equation tau m, that is L by C n1 minus lambda dn by d lambda. You try to differentiate d tau m by d lambda. So this is the constant L lambda, will get L lambda by C, and inside n1 is the, so this n1, if you differentiate it, we get d n1 by d lambda. And if you want to differentiate this one, lambda d n1 by d lambda, it is a constant. Two terms are there, u du by dx, v du by dx, like that. If you do this one, we'll get minus d square n by dn lambda square minus dn1 by d lambda, like that. Totally we'll be getting splitting of three terms. If you differentiate this tau m equation with respect to lambda, you will get d tau m by d lambda, like this. Now you have to substitute this 3.17 equation, that is for d tau m by d lambda, back in 3.16 equation, that is an equation for the pulse broadening for them due to material dispersion. So that you will get how, like this, if you further resolve this one. Sigma m, that is RMS pulse broadening due to material dispersion, presently will become equal to, you simply substitute this one minus L lambda, take the modulus of that one, let sigma lambda L by C modulus of L d square n1 by d lambda square. So this term normally denoted by some constant. Okay. that is given in terms of a material dispersion parameter m. That is 1 by L d to m by d lambda. Again, you substitute d to m by d lambda, whatever you got here. You substitute here, you get this. So, two important equations we are winding up. So, again, this is not the end of RMS pulse broadening due to material dispersion. So, this is RMS pulse broadening due to material dispersion you are getting. There is a by you have to stop here. And further, if they will get to obtain material dispersion parameter m, you have to continue with the formula m equal to 1 by L d to m by d lambda. You will end up with this. So this is one phase of a mathematical derivation or discussion, mathematical discussion you can say, for the pulse spreading in the material due to material dispersion. You can see this such kind of equation we have got in the last few classes and we stopped solving one numerical. Now we can feel competent using this formula in solving the problem. Let us look at one problem here quickly. A glass fiber, hope it is visible, otherwise you can zoom your screens. A glass fiber exhibits material dispersion. So this factor, guys, this factor is known as a material dispersion of 0.025, that is a constant. Determine the material dispersion parameter, that is m. Material dispersion parameters means m. You need to use this equation. Over operating wavelength 0.85 micrometer, and also is asking you to estimate RMS pulse broadening per kilometer for LED source with RMS spectral width it is given 20 nanometer at the prescribed wavelength. First one is a material dispersion parameter m. We know the formula, you can substitute the values here. Lambda square d square n by d lambda square, material dispersion value is given 0.025, you can substitute here, divided by c into lambda. C is 3 into 10 to the power 5 into lambda, that is operating wavelength 0.85 micrometer. You can substitute all the things here, simplify here. Finally, we'll get it as 98.1 picosecond per nanometer per kilometer. Next, he is asking you to find out, estimate the pulse broadening, mean this sigma m, that is sigma lambda L by C, again lambda. So this lambda square d square is given, not lambda. What you can do, you can use this formula in terms of the material dispersion. We know that relationship, sigma m approximately equal to sigma lambda Lm. Substitute the things here. Sigma lambda is given 20. M is, we just got 98.1. You can substitute. Length is given for kilometer is asking. We'll get it as 1.96 nanosecond per kilometer. So these problems little bit tricky. Sometimes you have to just understand the things properly. What are the given data and what are the formulas to be applied, and simply use the calculator properly and get the answers. And never forget to write the n units, otherwise you lose the marks. So just to quick recap, just now what we discussed so far before we will jump into the next section of the quantitative aspect of this pulse spreading. We started with the two initial things, group delay, that is the 2z, that is 1 by c and 1 minus lambda d square n by d lambda square. Then pulse delay OM, okay, that is L. Simply you are multiplying the fiber length L by 2z, group delay. So these two delays, there is a group delay and a pulse delay. We have started discussing this pulse spreading initially. Why we have to justify it clearly, that I already explained. Then you have considered sigma m as the RMS pulse width that has been launched by this optical source, and we have gone through the journey of how to get an expression for the sigma m, that is RMS pulse spreading due to the material dispersion so far with the material dispersion parameter m. Next, we'll consider this pulse spreading aspect with respect to the multimode step index fiber. If you get a question regarding pulse spreading in the multimode step index fiber, let me complete this. You have to start from the beginning and do it briefly and continue with this without the problem. Okay. Now the delay difference dot s between extreme between the meridional ray and axial ray. Okay. So here also I will suggest you not to go for looking into these equations directly. We are taking the equations, that is the delay difference between the meridional ray and axial. Meridional ray will exist at the edge and axial ray will exist along the axis. So that is a T max minus T minimum. If you take ln 1 square by C into minus ln by C, if we simplify it with delta, that is a index difference kept very much smaller than 1, you approximately get it as the delay difference dot Ts approximately will become equal to ln 1 square delta by Cn2. But by definition of index difference, we know that n1 minus n2 by n2. Okay. If you take this particular section, this one, what I am indicating, that is 3.24 equation, resolve it, L unknown by C, and make substitution for this delta. You'll get it as simply L unknown delta by C. And here also not go for looking into equation. Delta Ts now we're trying to express it in terms of, because we know the relationship between index difference delta and the numerical aperture. That only we're trying to elaborate here, trying to include for delta and the numerical aperture relation as a part of rho ts. We'll get it approximately equal to L Na square by 2n1c. So this is very important expression we are getting. So what it will indicate is the delay difference will depends on the length of the fiber and numerical aperture directly. Will increase as L will increase. That's what he is trying to tell here. So these two equations, delta Ts, which is in terms of numerical aperture, and delta Ts, which is in terms of Ln1 delta, that is index difference. These two equations are used in estimating the pulse broadening in time due to intermodal dispersion. Okay, pulse spreading due to metal dispersion is over already. Now what we are discussing, pulse spreading in the multimode index fiber. There we are coming across these aspects. There is a pulse broadening due to intermodal dispersion in multi-step index fibers. Okay, so whenever you get the title pulse broadening in the multimode step index fibers is same as good as pulse broadening in the due to multimodal dispersion. If you get the question, one and the same. Remember this. This is very important. And again, he's telling you the key point. That these two equations, there is a delay equations dot s in terms of numerical aperture and index difference are frequently used in estimating the pulse broadening due to intermodal dispersion. To continue with a single mode step index fibers, let us consider this kind of pulse we are going to launch from the optical source, maybe LED or any kind of a light source, having the width ranging from minus dou ts by 2 to plus dou ts by 2, with amplitude having 1 by dou ts. So this kind of pulse we are now considering single pulse that has been launched from the link for the step index fiber to be discussed as far as the pulse spreading. So far we discussed pulse spreading due to multimode. Now we are discussing the same continuing with the single, that is multimode step index. Sorry, single pulse, single mode. So where you can see the pulse ranging from minus dou ts by 2 to plus dou ts by 2. So the RMS pulse broadening at the fiber output due to intermodal dispersion for the multimode step index sigma s is given in terms of the variance, that is sigma s square is given by the difference between the second moment and the first moment square. These are all statistics. First moment is nothing but integral of that pulse t pi of t into dt. M2 is nothing but second moment, that is the t square pi of t by dt. If you simplify this, we are not taking minus to plus infinity, but instead we are taking with respect to only one plus, that is minus dou ts by 2 to plus dou ts by 2. That only we try to substitute here for the variance expression 1 by dou ts t square into dt range from minus dou ts by 2 to plus dou ts by 2. Ultimately, you will get sigma s square, the variance, as 1 by 3 dou ts by 2 whole square. We substitute this one, take the square root of this to get the sigma s. We'll get it as L n1 delta by 2 root 3c, or in terms of numerical aperture as denominator we are getting it as by increase by 2. So this will give the pulse bonding with a single pulse, what you have considered so far, and how they are going to be related, that has been discussed here. So these are all aspect about pulse spreading in the material dispersion and pulse spreading in the multimode index fibers that we are winding up with a single pulse. Let us consider a simple problem. This is kilometer optical link. If you read only this much, it will indicate the length L. Here L 6 kilometer, 6 into 10 to the power 3 of multimode step index fiber with a core refractive index 1.5, that is N1 1.5, with a relative index difference delta, that is 0.1%, that is 0.01. Estimate the delay difference. Delay difference is asking you between the slowest and fastest modes. What are slowest and fastest modes? Slowest mode means the modes concerned with the axial ray. The fastest mode is slowest modes means the meridional ray concerned. Fastest modes are concerned with the axial ray. That's how we are uh, did the quantitative discussion to obtain the delay difference (OTS) between the meridional ray and the axial ray paths. So delta Ts ln1 delta by c, substitute the things here, we'll get it as 300 nanoseconds. Very simple. Because L is given 6 kilometer, N1 is given 1.5, delay index difference is given 1%, divided by c, we know it is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. If we calculate everything, we'll get it as 300 nanosecond delta Ts. Next, second bit, you'll ask RMS pulse broadening due to intermodal dispersion, not material dispersion. Material dispersion is different. The first section, what you did the mathematical discussion. Second section of the discussion is concerned with intermodal dispersion, not material dispersion. Remember, today we discussed the pulse spreading with respect to two aspects. First one we discussed with respect to material dispersion. Second, the same thing we continued with respect to intermodal dispersion. So its expression will be like this: Ln1 delta by 2 root 3c. L it is given 6 kilometer, N1 core index 1.5, delta 1%, 0.01 by c 3 10 to the power 8. We'll get you everything. RMS pulse broadening. Next, he will ask you to find out Maximum bit rate obtained without errors on the link, assuming only intermodal dispersion is telling. So maximum bit rate without error is, we know that 1 by 2 2, or in this case it is going to be 1 by 2 delta TS. So delta TS already we got here, it is 300. So 2 into that is going to be 600. We get it as 1.7 Mbps maximum bit rate. Alternatively, we can also do it by considering the error 0.2 by sigma s, so we'll get it as 2.3 Mbps. Last one will ask you to most accurate estimate of bit rate, assuming return to zero pulses. RZ scheme is given. In that case, simply you multiply B optimal by L. That is 2.3. B optimal means you have to consider the largest one. Listening here, 1.7 here you got, 2.3 you got. Which one is the maximum? No, that will be the optimal value you have to take it. And 2L will give the most accurate estimate of the maximum bit rate. That is 13.8 megahertz kilometer. Understood? If any queries or doubt, now only you can ask. This is very important discussion, guys, we are doing today in the module 2. And almost we are at the end of the module 2. The next class or 2 will wind up module 2 with some introduction sessions. Now stop if nobody is asking anything. Any doubts?